What have you learnt about technologies from the processes of constructing this product? My ICT skills were incredibly limited when I first began this course. This was evident throughout the course of my preliminary task and throughout my first set of appendix. And using software such as Adobe Photoshop, Adobe InDesign and Cam Studio was not one of my attributes, but yet, as I began production of the final product, I believe I saw a rapid increase within my knowledge concerning these softwares. To create my first magazine, I simply used Adobe Photoshop, as it was the only program I had experience with at the time, and I did a rather bad job of it concerning my lack of knowledge for the likes of generic conventions from other contemporary magazines. The surprising distance of precision and quality between my prelim and my finished 4 pages is quite astonishing, but this was only achieved through the use of extensive testing, trial and error exercises, and some pointers from the media staff. These help pointers I mainly needed when I was using InDesign and some elements of Photoshop, as I didn't use these programs on a daily basis before the project. All of the magazine imagery throughout my magazine have been airbrushed and composed in a manner that would fit my magazine structure and in a way that would meet my target audience's convergence culture, as these images will need to reach their expectations, and obviously these images must undergo these changes in order to appeal to my audience in a manner that would make them see the images as an ideal self or an ideal partner. I used a wide variety of effects on my images throughout my magazine, such as shines and strokes, to make my images look more interesting and attractive. I also used drop shadows to give the effect of an object being 3D within my magazine, giving the effect that the image may be levitating towards the audience. These effects and tools I learnt to use within Adobe Photoshop after a simple mess around session in TRC, and at home with an earlier version of the software. Tools such as the lasso and pen tool quickly came to my attention as the foremost priority for these pictures was to cut them out and rearrange them in a manner that would suit my magazine. Tools such as the line tool and fill tool and the shape tool followed as my pursuits changed from rearranging images to creating original ones, such as these signature and the CP logo I created in Photoshop with these tools after drawing out the images on a piece of paper. After getting the basic outline on Photoshop, I turned these images into JPEGs, then put them into Adobe Fireworks CS5 to have them coloured in with different visual effects within the colour sections I created, just to make my masthead stand out, as it would be the priority image on my magazine, as it would represent my brand, indicating that this product is from this brand. The metal and the red parts of the image were composed separately, simply because of my lack of knowledge concerning fireworks and the style fireworks and display its visual effects. So I had to create the heart as as two separate documents and layer them on top of each other later on. But yet now I have learnt that you can simply layer 2 files on top of each other in a single file, something I will need to take into consideration when creating future documents. Other images I created were the heartbeat monitor chains on my double-page spread that I created using the line tool in Photoshop to create iconography that their heart is still beating, or has just started beating once again. A preferred reading of Resurrection. My double-page spread also has a lot more images I created using these tools in Photoshop. The quotes on the top of the black banners were not created in InDesign, but Photoshop, as I said, as it is easier to create those sorts of things in Photoshop. I created a layer style and then applied it to some of the text within the banners, especially the more exciting parts of the text, such as killing people and dead, to make the text stand out. The banners behind the text are composed of about 5 to 8 black rectangles each that are arranged to fit the text, making the way in which I deliver my text more original compared to traditional double-page spreads. In the top left, I have also another caption of text displaying the name of the band on a banner, but yet the banner has a lightning bolt banner coming out of it as well. I created this using the shape tool and creating a lightning bolt within it, connoting power. I created a W drop capital for the start of my double-page spread story, to simply make the story seem more interesting and alluring. It also makes my story look relevant, as it has the same Photoshop format as my title. This drop capital is simply a JPEG that I created in Photoshop by turning the W into a JPEG, then coloured it in and using the fill and the effect tools in Photoshop. My contents page and double-page spread was set out in a program called InDesign that comes with Photoshop and was initially designed to set out magazines and other text-based media products. Just about every piece of text throughout these pages, except text written on banners, has been written with the InDesign text boxes, which I have placed evenly after making the boxes fit my text up to the edge of the letters. This effect is especially effective on my contents page, as all of my information is evenly spaced out, using personalised gauging techniques that I have developed over the course of my magazine production. I have created a composition of an image, some coloured rectangles, and an image of my front page that I have turned into a singular JPEG. This JPEG I then used as a banner for my personal details on the magazine brand, and some details of how to get the next issue for a much cheaper price. To create these images on my magazine and to simply lay everything out on my magazine, the only software I used was Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Fireworks, and Adobe InDesign. But yet I also use other softwares in editing and creating my videos, both being HitFilm Ultimate and Windows Movie Maker. HitFilm being the better of the two, as it has many other capabilities I can use to make my videos more detailed, such as multiple image and audio tracks to lay information on top of each other. Most of all, I learnt how to organise my work, as before this project I was seemingly untidy with my work, mainly because my work at Clifton Comprehensive School was rather messy, but because I learnt how to blog on Posterous, ordering and storing information was easy after learning to use this website. I learnt the value of storing and backing up work, as a previous loss of a memory stick persuaded me to constantly keep a backup, especially now as all my work is stored on a singular piece of hardware. Converging software is a real attribute to my work now, as to create the poster special part of my magazine front cover, I had to compose pictures in InDesign to create and space out the images easily. My skill within hardware has also improved drastically, as I have had access to completely new hardwares to work with, such as the SLR Canon 1000, which is a camera I use to take my images with. I had learnt the different settings and how to work in different lighting conditions to give my photos certain effects. I also learnt how to use scanners within college as well, as I have had to include magazine pages and drawings I have created within my evaluations and within my actual pages of my magazine project. Learning the value of this hardware even drove me to buy a cheap scanner and printer in my room, so then I could work mainly from my home with the use of earlier versions of Photoshop and InDesign. I had to use audio recorders to record my voice on my first videos and evaluations, but yet because of the technological convergence and my recent greater understanding of this convergence, I received information that I could use Skype to record my voice via the microphone on my headset, using a software called Skype Recorder, and because my headset is of a good quality, the sound was extensively better.